Welcome back, everyone, to the Game of Warriors. After a successful 2-week trial run, players are now grouped accordingly in their divisions, meaning all first-place players from Group A, B, C, and D from the trial run are now grouped in Division 1. All second-place players from Group A, B, C, and D are now in Division 2. All third-place players from Group A, B, C, and D are now in Division 3, and, that's right, all fourth-place players from Group A, B, C, and D will be in Division 4, with the exception of Uffy, who did step down, and Alpha, who will be taking her place. Now, the format for the videos for Game of Warriors has also slightly changed. The showcased hits will be Division 1, meaning that all players who placed first in the trial run in their appropriate groups have earned their hits to be shown for the first season of Game of Warriors. We will be starting off with Division 4, Op 1 results and points table update, then Division 3, Op 1 results, and then updated points table, and then Division 2, updated points table with Op 1 results, and then of course on par with Division 1, showcasing the hits. I'm very excited to get things started here. I hope you're ready to bring the hammer down. Let's do this. Division 4, Op 1. Jabs coming out swinging on his 210 base. He did have minimal casualties with 2.5 landing crafts of warriors down. That's minus 26 points on the troop loss, and he will finish first place with 184 and get the 3 points for the first op. Big Toe coming in second on op number 1, going in on his 159 base, capitalizing on landing craft bonus, finishing with 170 and stealing 2 points for op number 1. Alpha with base of choice, going in on the 134, finishing with 131 and getting third place for op number 1, finishing with 1 point. And poor Dirty Harry finishing with 0 points for the non-solo on his 184. Good luck, fellas. Let's move on to Division 3, Op 1. Division 3, Op 1. Wow, not much to say here. Everyone bed except Bam Bam, who decided that making it to the toilet was probably the best thing to do. Bam! Finishing with 185. The only player to not only get the solo, but get the points as well. Bam did have the 210 base, and he sent 6 landing crafts, capitalizing on 22 bonus points, but he did have 47 points loss due to troop loss. He did finish with 185, but honestly, it really didn't matter what his difference was, because he was finishing first no matter what. With 6, Duck, and Mr. P all getting 0 points for the non-solo. Good luck, fellas, on op number 2. Let's move on to Division 2, Op 1. Division 2, Op 1. All 4 players successful on their solos, but unfortunately, one of them will be walking away with 0 points on the first op. SkullCrusher coming in first on op number 1, going in on his 210 base, sending it with 6 landing crafts of warriors, capitalizing on 22 bonus points. He did lose 13 points due to troop loss and finish with 219. Rufus coming in a very close second with only a -3 on the difference with SkullCrusher with a 216. Rufus did have the 159 base and the steal over Frank. Rufus did only send it with 2 landing crafts of warriors, capitalizing on 66 bonus points. Rufus did also have 9 points loss due to casualties and finished with 216. Only 3 less than SkullCrusher's 219, and Rufus will get the 2 points on op number 1. Frank coming in third on op number 1 on his 184 base. Frank did send it with 6 landing crafts of warriors, also capitalizing on 22 bonus points. Frank did have the least amount of casualties lost amongst the group here with only 5, and of course finishing with his difference of 201 and getting 1 point for that effort. And unfortunately, Joss coming in with the base of choice, going in on the 134, capitalizing on bonus points and minimal troop loss too, with only 9 warriors lost, does finish with 180, but unfortunately, with the previous 3 players scoring higher, Joss will get a 0 points on op number 1. Division 1, op 1. Trout finishing with the 3 points, sending 2 boats of warriors on his 159 Commodore, capitalizing huge on landing craft bonus and finishing with 212 on the op and the guaranteed 3 points. That steal over LoneWolf must hurt because LoneWolf did send it, of course, on his 210, and he did finish with 209, only 3 less than Trout. WEBreloadedWolf finishing third and grabbing the 1 point with his 162, and unfortunately with Krusher getting the non-solo on his 184. Let's check out the hits from Op 1, Division 1. Starting things off with 4th place in Group 1, Mr. Krusher, who did full send it on his 184 quick charge, and his engraving of choice is armor with up to 72% reduction. Let's see, unfortunately, what went wrong for Krusher. Now, first off, I just have to pause it and just... Oh, no, not speed it up. First thing, I just have to pause it and just point out the obvious. Quick Charge is not an easy layout for warriors. Not only are we talking shield gens, but we're also talking not a hot landing, but an incredibly difficult landing. You do have breathing room from the rocket launchers and shock launchers, but you do have serious gunboat energy management at the start to give your warriors an opening to get off the beach. So let's see what Krusher does to give himself that breathing room, that opening on the beach. And it looks like we do have a barrage and a critter starting things on that right side. Let's continue. And there's the barrage up top clearing the shock mines. Critters on the shock launcher clearing the surrounding shock mines as well. Follow-up artillery clearing a bigger opening for the shock mines, and a great critter toss there, now opening up the mines and boom mines. The opening has been emerged here. A full send with a flare landing to the far right side of the ramp here. Bullet is now deployed. Second flare as we now regroup under a ground flare. Rocket launchers are now tickling with that up to 72% armor reduction on the engraving. We will clip the shock mine, but follow up under the coverage of smoke as we anchor on the shock launcher. The warriors that clip the shock mine are now catching up. As that smoke gets ready to expire, we have a follow-up shock directly behind the shock launcher, pinning down the 2 rocket launchers and cannon. There's that taunt directly pulling in that shock launcher, and one beautiful synchronization from the warriors, bringing the hammer down, taking out that shock launcher. And here we go. Shocks and critters are being cycled as the warriors push forward, removing the rocket launchers and the shield generators. So the soft underbelly of the core has been exposed here. Krusher is now moving forward with an aggressive free clear as we now decide to directly flare the rocket launcher. I thought we were going to anchor. Nope, directly flare on the rocket launcher as we now have our new regroup area. Looks like we're taking casualties here. Nope, I just think... Oh, yes, I think we are taking casualties here. These critter launchers are seriously unforgiving. That might have been the first downfall to the hit here. I don't know exactly how many casualties we did succumb to here, but it just looked like those critter launchers were slowly chipping away, nibbling at those warriors, dwindling Krusher's numbers here. Let's continue this madness. There's the direct flare on the critter launcher, follow-up smoke as we do anchor artillery to clear the boom mine directly in front of the machine gun. Follow up 1, 2, 3, 4, Schmanus, or reverse Mickey Mouse elongated smoke neck drop. We do have warriors actually peaking at approximately 3 o'clock there. That might have been the second downfall there due to the fact that some of the warriors have already been shocked. Actually, no, the shock has been expired here as the warriors are bringing the hammer down, and it does look like that one shock launcher was in range, but the Warriors are now out of range of it. But we got single shot cannons on the right and nasty boom cannons on the left. The rocket launchers are not a threat with that armor at 72%, up to 72% reduction. So those rocket launchers are honestly just tickling the Warriors. But with those single shot defenses, the cannons and the boom cannons pretty much all in range of those Warriors, each pretty much taking out one after every shot. I think that was the second downfall to the hit here. So, of course, as we continue here, and yes, Bullet looks like is out of juice on the taunt here. Those critter launchers are now slowly chipping away at Bullet again as the boom cannons and cannons are flanking the Warriors on the left and the right. Boom cannons on the left, cannons on the right. So, unfortunately, not enough mustard in the bottle. So, those pesky critter launchers, I think, was the first step to the hit going south, and then of course just not enough GBE here as we had the Warriors wrapped around the core from approximately about 10 o'clock to about 2 o'clock there, and the boom cannons picking off and flanking from the left, the cannons picking off and flanking from the right, and of course those critter launchers just fire and go away critters at poor Bullet. Even after death, the poor man doesn't even get a break here. But Krusher, valiant effort there, but unfortunately 0 points on op number 1. Moving into WEBReloadedWolf, who did place third in Division 1 Op 1, who did get the 1 point as well on his 134, sending it with 5 landing crafts of Warriors. And look at that. We do have an adrenaline engraving sighting here, but only units movement and attack speed at 7%. So WEBReloadedWolf, you might want to get that adrenaline engraving boost up there. Let's see this madness. And it looks like if you pay attention to the top right of the layout there, we do have critters coming out to farm. Easy farming here. The closest threat would be this rocket launcher right here, which means we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, possibly 17 right there. Do the math. 17 times 3. 3 and 10 is 30. 7 and 3 is 21. 30 and 21 is 51. That is literally 51 GBE added to the bank if WEBReloadedWolf would have given those critters enough time here. But if you take a look over here, we did actually have Bullet coming out first directly in the middle of the ramp there, the middle of the beach. After about 1.5 seconds, it looked like we did have a delay drop of our 5 landing crafts of Warriors, and I like that WEBReloadedWolf did flank them. 2 boats of Warriors coming out on the left of Bullet, and we've got 3 boats coming out on the right. That 2 smoke drop did come out a little bit late there, which is necessary, of course, to give Bullet and the Warriors the coverage they need, because we do actually have a very hot landing, pretty much the second we are getting on that beach. So let's continue this madness. There's the 3rd smoke, follow-up anchor, 4th smoke as we regroup on the machine gun. Warrior did peek on the left, but that's okay. Follow up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 smokes as we regroup directly to the anchor, which is the flamethrower at 5 o'clock. Follow up flare as we transition to the core. And of course, as those smokes get ready to expire, there's the critter, 1, 2, and of course 1, 2, 3 shocks coming out. So we had 2 critters, 1 critter coming out right over here in the cluster of all these rocket launchers. 2nd critter coming out right over here at approximately a very hard and far 4 o'clock. And our 3 shocks there. First shock coming up top, First shock coming out right over here, pinning down the boom cannon and the flamethrower at about 6 o'clock. Second shock coming out, pinning down the 2 flamethrowers at about 9, 10, 11. And third coming out, pinning down the flamethrower at about 1 o'clock, because of course with Bullet's positioning here, we were able to taunt the flamethrowers at 3 and at 5. And of course we do have the machine gun, the cannons, and 3 cannons there, the mortar, the 1 of the snipers. That's actually beautiful Bullet positioning, pulling in all those defenses on taunt. Let's continue this madness here, and WEBReloadedWolf is just bringing the hammer down. As those critters went down, we have a follow-up critter, a little bit higher than the first toss there, medkit as well, as WEBReloadedWolf realizes that there's no more shocks coming out, and a beautiful 5 landing craft solo on 134 stronghold quota. Boom! Goes the dynamite. Moving into second place for Division 1 Op 1, we're talking Mr. LoneWolf, who did full sended, of course, on his 210 sliding block. I love a good warrior sliding block solo, and of course, his engraving of choice. He loved this in the trial run, at least in my Group A, and he's still rocking it now. LoneWolf with that armor engraving, practically max there, with up to 74% reduction. Let's take a look at this madness. Okay, even before we see what happens here, I'm going to tell you exactly what I do on these solos here. You BART out this back rocket launcher here, you BART out this one here, you've got nice farming in the front, you regroup on this rocket launcher here, you take out this rocket launcher here, you reflare this rocket launcher here, you're shocking everything in the middle by directly shocking the boom surprise, and of course everything else gets pulled in, and then you're taunting right before that shock as well. Long story short, it's a really easy cleanup with the warriors, so I'm curious to see if LoneWolf is familiar with this warrior solo on sliding block. Let's continue. Yeah, oh, he's BARTing out mines. What are you doing? Wait, what am I to criticize? Who am I to criticize? We know the solo was there. We know he got second place for op number 1 here. And there's the full ascend there. He's going right up for the farming there. I would have saved that gunboat energy for those rocket launchers there. But again, that's the thing with this armor engraving with up to 74% reduction. These rocket launchers are literally tickling these warriors. They're not a threat. They are not a threat. The biggest threat to these warriors are single-shot defenses, like those cannons and boom cannons we saw flanking, unfortunately, Krusher on his non-solo there. So, LoneWolf with a reflare, very nice farming. I'm not even going to attempt counting all these power cells here and letting you know what LoneWolf is adding to the bank here, but it is looking good. Critters coming out, clearing the line of mines, and there is the direct flare to the boom surprise. The reason why I didn't BART out those rocket launchers, honestly, is because of the freaking 74% armor reduction. And there's the direct flare to the boom surprise, taunt activated, which is exactly what you want to see, because everything inside those shield generators is getting pulled in here. So now with, honestly, beautiful clear of the defenses inside the shield generators, which now leaves the shield generators open for the clearing and also for the farming, because LoneWolf is also accumulating a ton of gunboat energy in which he is going to use to regroup and reposition the warriors for the core rush, because we will need a few shocks for that core rush. And look at that, a fantastic clear of the shield generators here. One little rocket launcher left, but I love that LoneWolf literally paid zero attention to those 3 rocket launchers. Follow up a reflare as we regroup. There's the smoke now as we're going to anchor on the power cell here. We're going to pause it here in just a second here. I want to see the warriors and Bullet regroup on that anchor. And there it is under the coverage of smoke. If we highlight the rocket launcher, the closest rocket launchers, that one's out of the way there. But these 3 right here, especially this one right there, is already in range. If that smoke was not thrown on that anchored power cell, LoneWolf would be taking damage from those damage amplified rocket launchers. And yes, he is using his armor engraving, but damage amplified rocket launchers, you know, they're going to do a little bit more mustard in the bottle in those guys, all right? So let's continue this madness here. And of course, as we now catch our breath and follow up flare directly to the machine gun, that's going to be our next anchor here. A little bit late on the smokes there. Delay's been lost. Kind of hoping LoneWolf would keep that delay there, but you know what? Looks like casualties have been kept to a minimum, bare minimum. Remember, I believe there was only 1 lost on the hit here. So now I'm wondering if we're going to see a 4-core smoke drop. There's the 4-core smoke drop. So the reason why, I'm going to pause it in just a second here, the reason why LoneWolf decided to flare directly to that machine gun and anchor on that machine gun, why? Bullet positioning. LoneWolf is a warrior player, and we've already talked about LoneWolf being a warrior player on operations. So directly flaring to that machine gun after clearing all the shield gens and setting up this rush here sets Bullet up for perfect positioning on taunt. So with Bullet at 12 o'clock here, I'm telling you right now, 1, 2, 3, 4 machine guns. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe not that rocket launcher might be actually just outside the 6-tile radius for taunt. But regardless, 4 machine guns, 3 rocket launchers are all getting pulled in from taunt, which means we're going to need 1 shock over here, possibly 1 right here. We could ignore single shot And I probably get one on the rocket launchers over here, but let's continue this attack here and see what LoneWolf does as those smokes get ready to expire. And as those smokes get ready to expire, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shocks. Critters coming out late as well. And you know what? I don't even know if those critters were necessary, but absolutely beautiful. That was a really fun hit to watch. That was also a really fun hit to commentate on. I didn't even comprehend and realize that you can literally, some of these rocket launchers, you can just not give them the light of day when you are using the armor engraving. And sabotage also can play its role in that, but it just also shows you how the engravings has changed operation. How the engravings has changed operation. Which means that, you know, the nerfs might have been necessary here. With that being said, excellent execution from LoneWolf on sliding block, getting the 2 points there. Let's make our way over to numero uno. Let's check it out. Mr. Trout with the steal on his 159 base. Are you freaking kidding me? 20 warriors, 2 landing crafts, huge landing craft bonus, and look at this, guys. We have a new engraver sighting. I believe that is sabotage there. Decreases the enemy defensive statue's effectiveness by 27%. Armor and sabotage are honestly probably 2 of the other best defensive engravings you can use with warriors on these operations. Of course, with the best offensive engravings you should be using should be either Leech, Adrenaline, or Rally. But freaking Trout here with the 2 boats of warriors, the 159 steel over LoneWolf's 210. I am very excited to check this madness out. Let's take a look. All right, so barrage coming out right now. What are we barding out? Are we barding out a cannon? We're barding out a cannon. Oh, unorthodox route coming out. I think we're taking the back door here. Critters coming out, clearing mines as well. Serious damage done to those 2 back cannons. There's another barrage as well. Yep, he's opening up the cannons there. He might be I think he might be coming in through this back area here. More critters. Okay, no, he's indicating that he's going to be going up the middle here. But he might be flaring bullet right to this machine gun here. That's going to be his bullet positioning. Let's take a look. Bullet coming out already on the very far right of the ramp there. 2 boats of warriors flanked on the left and right. Early taunt as well, just so we know there's nothing to worry about with the 2 boats of warriors. Rocket launchers slightly tickling those warriors, but I think that opening taunt was actually really, really well played there. Warriors actually taking a really sloppy path here. They've actually broken up into 3 lines on the transition to the anchor flare here. So, you know, when you're flaring when you're flaring warriors, you want to see that single file or as close to it. So honestly, really, really sloppy on the warriors. Not on Trout's part. He can't tell the warriors to go single file here. So really sloppy on the warriors, literally breaking out into 3 lines on the transitional flare. Let's continue. There's the next smoke. And of course, follow up 2 more as we anchor on the cannon. So let's see if we get that flare directly to the machine gun. As Bullet takes his time, but finally catches up, we do have a follow-up flare directly. Ground flare! Right above. Okay, look at this, look at this. Okay, there's the smoke now, so we just ground flared. Trout just ground flared directly above the flamethrowers, but underneath the rocket launchers here. He then followed up smoke on the machine gun, which I thought he was just gonna freaking anchor on it just to get the warriors there, but there's the follow-up flare as well. So now we do have the that was 2 boats of warriors. That hurts right there. You know what? If I didn't have context that he was getting the solo with the 2 landing crafts of warriors, the 2 boats of warriors, I would have thought, you know, it's done now, especially, you know, losing at least 3, 4, or 5 of them from that shock mine right there. Very unfortunate. But as that smoke gets ready to expire, beautiful! 2 smoke, a follow-up. Warriors are just taking damage left, right, and center here. That's confidence in Trout here, knowing that he will get the job done. And of course, as those smokes get ready to expire, look at that taunt. Beautiful. Oh my god, no shocks needed. Well, maybe one shock needed on the shock launcher. Come on, Trout, get that shock launcher already. But with Bullet's taunt positioning, absolutely freaking beautiful. And remember, with the warrior health regeneration here, they are slowly healing themselves after every swing of that hammer there. So the reason why Trout is not throwing any shocks here is because I believe he's putting all his gunboat energy into Bullet's taunt. Let's just pause this for one moment here. Take a look at that taunt radius here. So Bullet's taunt radius is 6 tiles, but look what that positioning, look what these 6 tiles are pulling in. 5 rocket launchers, 1 machine gun, 3 cannons, and honestly, the 2 most dangerous flamethrowers. Absolutely insane, which now I kind of understand why he's not shocking that shock launcher there. It is actually, halting a good chunk of our warriors here, but we got a good selection in the back here, just getting tickled by that machine gun there. That's that sabotage armor, that sabotage engraving coming in clutch here. And are you kidding me? Absolute beautiful execution, incredible bullet placement, and honestly, a brilliant 2 landing craft warrior solo on Commodore, and a much earned steal. Thank you all for tuning in to Game of Warriors and the official start to Season 1, highlighting the Division 1 hit and, of course, the updated OP scores for OP 1 with the updated points table. We will be returning tomorrow for OP 2. Have a wonderful night, everybody. We'll see you then.